The Scholar Gipsy, written by Matthew Arnold in 1854, is a narrative poem that reflects Arnold's preoccupations with the decline of intellectual and spiritual pursuits in the modern age. Through the figure of the scholar Gipsy, a learned man who abandons the conventional world of academia in search of a deeper, more meaningful understanding of life, Arnold explores themes of knowledge, spiritual yearning, and the tension between intellectualism and society's materialism. The poem weaves together elements of myth, longing, and disillusionment to present a vision of a life led by idealism and intellectual curiosity, as well as the challenges that accompany such a pursuit. The poem begins with a description of the scholar Gipsy, a young Oxford scholar who, driven by a sense of intellectual and spiritual dissatisfaction, abandons the academic world in search of a life that embodies both knowledge and freedom. The scholar Gipsy's decision to leave conventional society and take up the life of a wanderer, living among gypsies and seeking knowledge through alternative means, is presented as a noble and courageous act, symbolizing the pursuit of wisdom beyond the constraints of formal institutions. The scholar Gipsy is portrayed as someone who seeks to revive the deep, ancient wisdom of classical knowledge, but his rejection of the established educational system also marks him as an outsider. The speaker of the poem admires the scholar Gipsy's refusal to submit to the dusty ways of academia and society, instead choosing a more mystical, even elusive, path of intellectual exploration. Arnold admires the scholar Gipsy's attempt to live authentically and to search for knowledge in a world that seems increasingly focused on material and practical concerns. As the poem progresses, the speaker reflects on the scholar Gipsy's disappearance from society, acknowledging the mystery of the scholar's life and the power of his pursuit of knowledge. The scholar Gipsy is described as a figure who has transcended the ordinary human experience, roaming through the ages, in his search for truth. This portrayal elevates the scholar Gipsy to the level of mythic heroism, with his intellectual and spiritual quest symbolizing a longing for something greater than the banalities of everyday life. Arnold uses rich, vivid language and imagery to evoke the atmosphere of intellectual longing. The poem contrasts the scholar Gipsy's idealized existence with the speaker's own more conventional, disenchanted life. The speaker, who is part of the modern world, finds himself alienated and spiritually impoverished, unable to match the scholar Gipsy's dedication to seeking wisdom. The scholar Gipsy's path, in contrast, is one of complete devotion to learning, free from the distractions and shallowness of modern life. The poem then moves to a reflection on the nature of knowledge and the ways in which society suppresses or devalues intellectual pursuits. The speaker describes how the scholar Gipsy's commitment to his quest for knowledge sets him apart from those around him, who live lives of practical concern. These people, according to Arnold, are trapped in a materialistic world that reduces life's meaning to mere utility and function. The scholar Gipsy, by rejecting this world, represents an ideal that has been lost in contemporary society: the pursuit of wisdom for its own sake, untainted by practical or economic considerations. The scholar Gipsy's life is a metaphor for the idealistic pursuit of knowledge, one that Arnold sees as increasingly rare in the modern world. The poem critiques the decline of intellectual life and the rise of a more utilitarian approach to learning. In a world that values productivity and profit above all else, the scholar Gipsy's refusal to conform to these values makes him a tragic and heroic figure, representing an ideal that cannot be fully realized in the materialistic world. The closing lines of the poem, in which the speaker imagines the scholar Gipsy's ghost wandering through the world, suggest that his quest for knowledge continues even beyond his death. The scholar Gipsy's life, though seemingly futile and unfulfilled, carries a timeless resonance. His pursuit of wisdom lives on in the memory of those who admire him. This conclusion underscores the idea that the true value of knowledge and intellectual pursuit lies not in practical results but in the purity of the search for understanding. Structurally, the poem is written in rhymed quatrains with a regular above rhyme scheme, which gives it a formal, reflective quality. The regular meter and rhyme create a sense of continuity and contemplation, mirroring the speaker's ongoing reflection on the scholar Gipsy's life and ideals. The Scholar Gipsy is a rich and thought-provoking meditation on the decline of intellectualism, the nature of knowledge, and the contrast between idealism and the materialism of modern life. Through the figure of the Scholar Gipsy, Matthew Arnold explores the challenges of pursuing a life devoted to learning and wisdom in a world that increasingly values practicality and efficiency. The poem's themes of longing, intellectual pursuit, and the conflict between idealism and reality continue to resonate with readers, making it a significant work of the Victorian era.